Welcome to Wild Days of the Calloways. I'm Colton. My wife Lindsay and our dog Chaser bought this van, 1992 GMC G2500 Vandura Starcraft Edition. The plan is to take this and convert it to a solid van life. After watching several videos and getting the bug to travel more, we wanted to take that leap, and the first step to van life is buying a van. We've been doing our measurements, purchasing our flooring, pricing everything that's going to be going into this van, solar panels, roof fan, flooring. We decided to name it the Wild Days of the Calloways. That is our last name, and what we want to do is move into a van. Quick list of things that I do like and don't like about this van, things that I find might be a challenge, and things that you might want to know about. We're starting this channel to show everybody our adventure. Now, it may not always be the right way, but it's our way. This will be very challenging. I find like a lot of van lifers typically don't exactly know what they're getting into. Whenever they get into it, you just kind of find out along the way. Well, this is going to be a very similar situation. That being said, here's some of the cool things about this van that we call See More. See more and see more. Some of the things I like about this 1992 van, all right? Aside from it being over 20 years old, it does have low mileage. When we purchased it about 6 months ago, it didn't even have 100,000 miles on it. Low mileage, that's always a good thing. There's a lot of these kind of vans around, so if we need parts, we can usually find it pretty easy. Hoping that won't have to happen too much, but vans break down, that sort of stuff happens. Super comfortable seats. All leather, it's really pristine. Starcraft and GMC did something fantastic with this van. This is a van that we can't wait to improve, but boy, was it pretty nice already. It has a lot of storage. It has plenty of overhead compartments behind where the TV used to be. Is plenty of storage, not to mention under the bed that we're going to be making, there'll be plenty of storage there. But overall, the girth of this thing, the size of this big box van, especially with the extended conversion top, just offers a lot of space. Also, I like the fact that it has a ladder in the back. I think that's very handy, especially for when we put solar panels and the fan. I think that right there is super crucial, just accessibility. Also, the spare tires right there next to it. I know a lot of updated vans now don't have all that stuff. They put all the tires underneath. It's a comfortable ride. Obviously, again, it's 20 plus years old, so it can only be so comfortable for that year, but overall it runs really smooth, but the ride is even smoother. You just take it easy, you know, you kind of have to baby this thing a little bit. Again, old vehicle, you gotta baby them. It has some fog lights on the bottom. I think that might help get us out of a pinch here and there. Again, the size is really big. It's got a conversion top. It's already got a lot of blinds in it, all pretty well kept up. Got all kinds of, first aid kit and storage spots in the back, wine rack, and other tables that fold down. The craftsmanship and the wood and other things that go into it look really, really good. It also has towing capability, so it actually has a spot for a hitch. I haven't hitched anything up to it, hoping to not have to. Might one day, but knowing that it's there and available is also a huge bonus for us. Okay, so real quick, dislikes with this van. The driver's seat and passenger seat legroom, not all that comfortable. The way they built these things back then, you're almost on top of the engine, so there's only so much space for your feet to go before you just run out of room. Gas pedal, brake pedal real close to each other. Just the wheel well with my left foot as I'm driving is kind of in a crazy spot. Not the biggest fan of that either. But other than that, that's something I've gotten used to over the past couple months driving. Also, where you put your hand out the window, the actual lock up and down, that thing just jams you right in the arm. So even if you click it down, it's still right there. They didn't really make it in mind with people holding their arms out the windows, is my guess. That part's a little uncomfortable. Also, the armrest is a little stiff, and either it's too long, it's too short. It feels weird, but again, all things really nitpicking on a lot of that. That's things that I've definitely gotten past at this point, but it's just things I've noticed, things that aren't quite perfect about the van that could be perfect. So if the lock wasn't there, and if the arm thing was a little bit softer, and it would be the perfect vehicle, but old vans, we weren't expecting things to be perfect. These are all things we will live with. The back doors do not open from the inside. I find that might be inconvenient at some point. I'm sure a lot of van lifers have vans that don't do that, so we'll be one of those. We just try to figure out a way around it. We'll have to get out, go this way or through the front doors to open it each and every time. But because this is a Starcraft edition, the electrical wiring overall, it can be a little bit tricky to figure out exactly what's going where. I do have the big ol' guidebook. I do have the huge Rally Vandura guide for this whole thing, and I've had to use it a couple times just to figure out some stuff, but it does not go into what a Starcraft conversion van, how it is built specifically. So there's going to be a lot of wires, a lot of difficult things that hopefully I don't find out the hard way are there. I've even talked to Starcraft a time or two, and they've sent me everything they've got on this year model, but not all of it's all that clear as I want it to be. It will be a learning curve, and I'm sure at some point we'll learn all the wiring to this van. I've already learned some of it. I had a hard time with some of the controls for the cigarette burners in the back, which means the TV, even the fog lights. A couple different things that I found out, there's a breaker underneath the hood that I didn't know for about a month. I thought I was having crazy electrical problems, and I could not figure out how the heck to get all these things turned back on. Turns out there's a jumper box under the hood. Other models, the year before, year after, they were inside. You could access them easy. They were right there in plain sight. Well, it took me forever to figure out how the heck to turn these things back on. So electrical is a little tricky. I'm not sure what everything does. I still have a hard time whenever I turn the van off, how to turn lights on, not even just to not drain the battery, but like literally nothing. I can't figure out how to turn all these things on. But I haven't had too many situations where I needed to know that. So I will find that out for the future. Actually, a lot of things will be connected to our eventual solar panels. So what else? Lack of insulation is kind of an issue. There's a lot of windows. That's the main reason for the lack of insulation. Where there could be insulation, there's windows. I love windows. I know a lot of van lifers get by with big ol' windows, and even ones that live in Canada. Shout out to Exploring Alternatives, which I think does an incredible, really professional job. I admire them for how they live nomadically and live a successful van life. Not to mention in cold weather in Canada with windows and stuff like that. I know they've figured out ways to be warm. We will do the same. I do plan on insulating the floor. I might look into removing some of this paneling just to see if there's a way to really stick some extra insulation in there. But overall, these windows are going to be what brings in the cold. Maybe we'll cut out some big insulated Reflectix or something that fit those windows better for when the cold season comes. Ideally, we'll work with the seasons and not be in snowy weather when we're not prepared for it. So that's something we're also concerned about, and we will figure out along the way. It is difficult to access the engine on these. Like I said, you're actually sitting on top of the engine in a lot of these older vans. So to get to it, you literally have to rip all the console, right where your drink holders and everything is, up and out just to do something simple like a tune-up. Getting to your alternator, getting to your battery, a lot of those things you can deal with under the hood. But for some of the more serious work to this engine, it is a difficult scenario just to work inside of the vehicle to get down to the engine. I think that's some really crazy engineering, which I think is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully we won't have to really deal with that. So something else I don't like about this, it came with a small solar panel. Again, I called Starcraft just to find out what the heck is this solar panel for. From 1992, can it even still work? It sure looks like it's messed up there. The meter that it runs to in here shows that it carries a charge and stuff. What Starcraft said for that specific model, after being put on hold for about 10 minutes so they can find out from one of their engineers who probably still worked there from a long time ago, is to keep the battery charged. The main reason I dislike the solar panel is that it will have to be removed, and there's a solid rectangle up there that will need to come out and be filled in somehow, because ultimately the 3 100-watt flexible solar panels will have to go right where it is, covering it up significantly and the rest of the way, because those are much larger than the little solar panel that I have to remove. That's just going to be something that has to go and could be a potential issue with leaking or something like that. So I'm hoping that I will seal that up 100% and that won't be a problem. Okay, so some of the changes that we plan on doing is all this carpet right here. From here on back, approximately 10 feet from here to the very end of the carpet, it'll be a vinyl top to it. It'll look like wood, but vinyl and waterproof. I will be filming that all and taking everybody else along to show how we did it, so that maybe they can get some insight and get inspired and do theirs as well. That's something big. That's actually the next thing, is the flooring. That's really what we want to do first before we get anywhere else. Overall, I feel like we'll be able to get this thing really moving over the next couple weeks, couple months. Solar panels, 3 100-watt flexible solar panels on top. And I already have it all measured out. It will fit perfectly up here. I will have to drill into the roof and ultimately bring a battery bank down underneath where the bed will be. I want to install a backup camera. I feel like that'd be very beneficial. Also, Lindsay would feel a lot better with a backup camera too. Our plan is to go to British Columbia first, mid-spring 2017. Then we will wind down the West Coast and visit all the friends and family we always said we'd come visit, but we never ended up doing. We hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2012. We met tons of friends across the nation, really across the world, and we still keep in touch with the majority of them. Now, as far as what our plans are for making a living, that is still to be determined. I do a lot of video work. I currently work for a production department with a local TV station, the creative department. So I am constantly behind a camera and editing all day and deal with a lot of live production as well. So I feel like with a lot of that experience, that's something that I think I'll be able to take on the road, whether it be freelancing or some sort of gigs along the way. So I feel pretty confident there will be things like that that exist out there that I will be able to get a hold of. Something I do on the side are time lapses. It's a hobby of mine and I sell them on stock footage places. That's something I would also like to really incorporate too, trying to get stuff up on stock footage because it's there forever, even after Vanlife. People can still be buying them. I've made a couple bucks off of them. Lindsay is an art major. She got her bachelor's degree from LSU. She's currently at a yoga/art studio for children and she loves doing that, but she also has her own Etsy shop and is pretty consistently doing art and selling it via Facebook and Etsy. We feel like between those two professions that we'll be able to make something happen nomadically on the road, not just make ourselves poor really, really quickly. So that is the plan right now. We're gonna keep you all updated. Wild days of the Calloways. We got a lot going on with this van. We absolutely love it. We've already taken a couple small adventures and slept in it, but we can't wait to put in a legitimate bed in here, a real floor, and we can't wait to show everybody how we did all of our stuff and hope that we can inspire you to do something similar and maybe see you out on the road, see you out there on our adventures, see you out there on your adventures. And we look forward to sharing this journey with you.